eyes cut by the bullets that killed him. From the great beyond, he will protect you. And the ones you love.
You want me to wear a mask?
The men you seek think you are dead, Kimosabe. Better to stay that way.
Well, he's wise, isn't he? Tonto's wise. Which is one of the things that I thought was very, very important, you know, to show. But even in a way that's not necessarily, you know, you don't initially think that. You think he's a little bit bonkers, you know. But everything he does is for a reason, I think.
That's the end of the line.
We jump.
What about the passengers?
They jump.
There's children on board.
All jump.
Have you no decency?
Wendigo getting away.
No, you're not going anywhere. Well, he's a big part of American history. He's sort of a big part of the American pop lexicon. But for me personally, the Lone Ranger is just a guy with a sort of unwavering moral code, and the one dude who, I mean, we've all been in the situation where we see someone being treated unjustly or being abused because they've been in a position of lesser power. He's the one guy who would actually say something. Like, we all wish we would say something. He's the guy that will do it. We sort of explore the human side of the Lone Ranger more. You know, I mean, the Lone Ranger as a superhero, he's interesting. You know, he's the good guy. He doesn't struggle with the right decision to make. He just makes the right decision. But ours is Lone Ranger, the hero. He's the human who knows, if I do this, it's probably going to hurt, and I hate it when it hurts, but I have to do it anyway. And you see him sometimes struggle with those decisions. Going somewhere?
Yes.
No. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, we are not.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Shut up!
Yes.
Well, I think the film certainly has its darker moments, but we just don't wallow in them. I think there's value in you know, you don't have light without darkness. So, but I think, look, I hope the film is sort of multi-generational in the sense that, you know, your father would come and sort of have this sense memory and this connection to the Lone Ranger that he may know and love, and when the William Tell overture kicks in, there's a kind of, you know, that's you know, I remember that, and that's what I love. And then also people who know nothing about the Lone Ranger can come and enjoy the story. And you know, I think early on the decision to, you know, to cast Johnny as Tonto and presented some problems because he's the sidekick and the whole thing could be out of balance. So I decided the only way to make him really, truly relevant is to have him tell the story, and that became, then was like, of course, well, we're trying to struggle, how do you reinvent one of these things? And telling it from Tonto's perspective and having him be slightly untrustworthy as a narrator, that was the doorway in.
All right. But if we ride together, it's to bring these men to justice in a court of law. Is that understood?
Justice is what I seek.
It's an iconic character. He stands for justice. We all want justice in our life. We want somebody to put the bad guys away. That's what he is. We wanted to tell the origin story so the young audiences understand how the Lone Ranger was created and why he is the Lone Ranger. So we're bringing that to them. You know, I feel sad for the younger generation that they're not walking around, you know, playing cowboys anymore because, unfortunately, whatever westerns were made didn't embrace an audience. Doesn't mean they're bad movies. So hopefully we can introduce to the younger generation a new classic hero.
The Lone Ranger was quite big in the UK when it first came out, but of course it's a generation before mine, or 2 generations before I was around. So, I mean, I knew of him, and of course we all played cowboys and Indians as kids. There was a sort of element of that. And there was always a mask, and there was a Tonto, and there was a silver horse, but you didn't really know much more than that. I mean, I watched sort of westerns like The Young Guns, but also Butch Cassidy and The Magnificent Seven. My dad loved westerns, so I watched a few of those more commercial versions of the westerns. But when I took this job, I watched a lot more. and I love the genre as well.